My name is Ashley Shreves. I'm a senior at Appalachian State University studying recreation management, and I'm an aspiring park ranger. This is my climate story. I grew up in Weddington, North Carolina. It's a small town on the outskirts of Charlotte where thick forests and open fields and Starbucks all work together to create a strange amalgamation of countryside and suburbs. I distinctly remember that the backyard of my childhood home was full of trees, and my sisters and I used to explore the forest, and we would pretend that we were heroes and villains, thwarting evil plots and crossing the bridge to Terabithia. And there's this particular smell that a forest has. It's a crisp, fresh, clean, earthy, just nature smell, and it seeps into your pores and it fills up your lungs and it makes you feel like home. And I remember in middle school or so, it gets a little bit fuzzy on the timeline, we lost our childhood home to foreclosure. After that, we moved around from place to place to place, and going from that natural forested setting to these paved townhouses, it was very difficult to feel a connection to nature, to feel a connection to the natural world that was changing around me because of rapid global climate change. I think as a kid, we were told about things like pollution, things like rapid global climate change, and I think it was very difficult as a kid to wrap your brain around stuff like that, because you try to fit it into these very simple frameworks where the heroes and the villains are fighting and the hero's going to do something and it'll save the world, and it's all very simple. It lacks intricacy. And then I feel like once you get into maybe middle school or so, your picture of the world starts to change, starts to get a little bit deeper. And then high school, it gets even deeper if you let it. I, in high school, got to take a class called AP Environmental Science. This class really started to open my eyes to how intricate all of these systems are that interact, and the effects of rapid global climate change on the world around me. And I think that it was really this class that kind of helped to make it clear to me that environmentalism and environmental education was really supposed to be a big part of my life and my career and kind of my end goals. And leading into a university setting, I started with sustainable development. That major kind of helps to broaden and deepen one's understanding of all of these different really complex systems which lead to environmental injustice, lead to social injustice, and really deviation from the simple narrative that we feed to ourselves as kids, where the heroes and the villains fight, and the heroes are always victorious and can save the world with simple actions, which I think is kind of a deviation from this childlike mentality that I think a lot of people hold on to, that I know I held on to for too long. So coming into sustainable development, I got a much broader understanding and deeper understanding of the effects of rapid global climate change on the world around me. And in Boone, which is such a natural setting, I think it really just reinforced what we're fighting for, because I had that very distinct connection to nature, which people who don't live in natural, like extremely natural settings, can also feel the effects of rapid global climate change. But I think that it's just more exacerbated when you are immersed in nature, in the local water system and stuff like that. Yeah, after a while, I got kind of disheartened with the sustainable development department, not because of any like wrongdoing or problem with their teaching, but just hearing about these systemic issues on a day-to-day basis can be disheartening. And I did an alternative service experience where instead of doing a spring break, I went to Kip-to-Peak State Park and helped park rangers. And I realized that through environmental education, through protection of our natural resources, park rangers are really able to be a part of this environmentalism movement, make a change, and combat rapid global anthropogenic climate change by promoting immersive experiential environmental education, by getting people involved to the point where they will make changes in policy. And I feel like this experience with the park rangers at Kip-to-Peak really helped to elucidate to me that you don't need to teach sustainable development, environmental studies, things like that, to be a politician or to be a nonprofit activist to make a difference. I look forward to being able to make people aware of the importance of protecting our natural lands, and to help people really get immersed and be able to smell that wonderful, fresh, clean, earthy nature smell and let it fill them up and let them feel at home in this planet. I'm Ashley Shreves, and that was my climate story.